and gentlemen, fellow debaters and honorable judges. Today we are here to discuss whether or not developed countries should be held more responsible for climate change. And our team strongly argues that they should indeed be held responsible for this phenomenon for the following few reasons. To begin with, developed countries are more to blame for global warming than developing countries. Ever since the start of the Industrial Revolutions, developed countries have gained huge economic power and wealth through their industrial developments. However, developing countries have just joined this trend only a few decades ago. Therefore, our team believes that it is rather unfair, not only unfair, but rather hypocritical of developed nations to blame developing nations for the recent economic industrial progress they have made and how that contributes to global warming, because developed countries are the very ones who has made way for global warming for the last few hundred years. And that is why our team believes that developed countries are more responsible for global warming. Our second reason is one concerning leadership. There is no need to say that in the currently the developed nations have a higher position in the international community compared to developing nations. The most obvious example of this is the U.S. and many other European countries. They have the most influence in the UN and many other international organizations. Therefore, they should have the duty to organize a collective global movement to combat global warming. Certainly, our team believes that developed countries should be more obligated to combat global warming because of the huge amount of resources they have at their disposal. The majority of developed nations have a great amount of wealth and other vast resources that they can use. But however, developing nations still have a long way to go, and they haven't achieved very great economic development yet. And so this is why developed nations should fully utilize their resources in order to solve global warming. Finally, giving a greater burden to developed nations can be the actual solution to global warming. A recent study has revealed that 19 million New Yorkers emit the same amount of carbon as 766 million residents in the 50 least developed countries. As we can see from this, the most developed countries are the biggest carbon emitters as well. This is why that the developed nations should have a bigger burden to rid the world of this environmental menace known as global warming. And in my presentation, I have taken you through 4 different points why our team supports the notion that developed countries are more responsible in combating global warming. Our first point was that of blame that developed countries have been industrially developed for a longer period than other developing nations, and they have contributed more to global warming. Our second point was that developed countries should use their leadership within the international community to organize a global effort against global warming. Our third reason was that of the vast amount of resources that they can use to fight this climate change. And our final argument was that a greater burden to developed nations can be the actual solution to this current phenomenon. And ladies and gentlemen,